Hello everyone, and thank you again for joining me. So we're going to be starting off our modeling section, and we're working on the Kaggle data set of the car prices from the Polish data set. And we're going to start off our modeling section by doing the train test split. So I like to start off by doing df.columns, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create essentially an access point in our workflow where we can turn on and off our different features, just like we did with the EDA. So this will allow us, so here I printed off df columns, and it's very nice and easy to take a list. So we'll copy and paste the features that we want to use. We're not going to use mark, model, or generation name, but we're going to use the other features that we've created and the original continuous variables that we had. And we'll make a list of that, and we'll put that right here. And now this is really nice because if you didn't want to use fuel year, or you didn't want to use, let's say, maybe two of them, you could just copy or you could just comment them out right here. And so this is really nice as you're experimenting with your workflow, a really quick and easy way to give yourself access to the columns or features that you'll be using in your data set. So let's run this, and what we're going to do, we're going to go x equals to df.features, spell that right, features, and then we're going to go y equals df, and that's square brackets, target. And so we're assigning x to our features and y to our target, and then we'll do our train test split. So start this off with x train, comma, x test, then, or sorry, x train, x test, and then what we want to do is y train, y test. Okay, so you can see here we got our train and test split, our variable setup. So we'll go train test underscore split, and that's our function imported from sklearn that we did way up above. And we're going to give it x value in the first position, our target in the second, so x and y. We'll set our test size equal to 0.3. So 30% is going to be held in reserve for our test set. So let's run these cells here, and let's get our train test split so everything ran smoothly. The next thing we're going to do is we head into our modeling section. We're going to create a function called model maker, but just really to allow us to reuse this, we're going to do the same thing over and over again. So it's really nice to have a function made for this just to save ourselves time. Instead of we could copy and paste for our modeling section, a little bit more professional to do this in a function. So we're going to start off, we're setting the default to a linear regression, but what we'll do is model. So we can imagine it's linear regression. So what do we want to do first? Well, we want to fit the model. So model.fit, in this case, it's set as the linear regression. So model.fit, we'll give it the x train and y train. And then what we're going to do is, I have the variable set up just to make things a little bit easier for us today. And so we're going to set our score. So how do we get the score? So we go model.score equals x train, comma, y train. So that's going to be our training score. And the test score will work exactly the same. So I'm just going to copy and paste this to make the life a little bit easier today. And we're going to go model.score. And what we're going to do is just change these train values to test. Let's see here, so test. So that gives us our test score. The next thing we're going to do, because we might need these later on, it's good to build this into our function ahead of time. So we'll go model.predict, and we'll get the predicted values. And we're just going to send this so x train. So this is what it would predict if we gave it just the data and not the target. So this is why we're not giving it the target, because it's not the score. We're just predicting these values. So we'll go model.predict, and this will be on our x test data set. Okay. So the next things that we'll do is we'll do bar plot. You can see here. So we've got our variables, some variables from our model. What we're also going to do, we're returning those variables. We're also going to do a bar plot, and we're going to go, we're going to put this into a data frame because Seaborn works really well with data frames. So pd.dataframe, we're going to give a data frame of the coefficients. I'm reshaping this coefficient so they're a row instead of being a list of 12 or a series of 12. It's going to be a row of 12 items, and then I can just put this into a data frame. And I do this because I want to give it the column names. So we're going to go x train dot columns, and this is going to give it a list of the columns. The reason I do this is so that we have a reference of what coefficient is what, and we as humans can interpret the result. So you can see here, we'll do that. And so we have the first model set up, so we'll call reg equals to linear regression. There isn't a lot that we can do in a simple linear regression, but we want to fit it the intercept. We want there to be an intercept value. We don't want it to be centered at 0 and 0. It's not very natural for a data set to be centered at that point. If it is, great, and if it's not, we want to allow our model to customize through that. So we'll run this here, and you'll see this is the bar plot we got, and this is why I gave it the column titles and put it into a data frame, the coefficients, so that we could see this, so that we can see here fuel diesel has a lot to do with the car price. And you can see here that the year, being the newest category of years, also has a lot to do with the final value. The year one has a very low coefficient, so this adds a very negative value if it's from the oldest year for a data set. And that's not surprising. That really aligns with what we said. And you can see here, year 3 is kind of a neutral value for our data set. Okay. So we'll try the next one, the ridge regression. So just as we saw above, we're going to create our model. We're going to assign our model. So it'd be RNG is the standard for ridge, and we'll go ridge. So what we'll do here is we'll go alpha. There's a lot we could do, and I'll let you play around with that, but what we do is we want to go alpha equals to, we want to turn down. Alpha is the strength of the regularization, so let's maybe turn it down to 0.6. This is something to experiment with and play around with. And we also want to go here, fit intercept, and then we'll say that is equal to true as well. So we'll get our ridge model, and you can see we get the same things here. We get the diesel does a really important thing for increasing the value, and as well the year 4 has a lot of effect or a positive effect in the value of a car, and year G1, so our oldest category of year, has a negative effect. So these have a really good way of understanding the impact of our model. So what we're going to do is the lasso regression now. So this uses a different, it's still a linear model, but uses a different type of regularization. So what we can do here, we also get to set the alpha as well. So let's do this at 0.6 as well. And so we want to go fit intercept as well, and we'll call true for that value as well. So let's run this, and you can see here, we'll get this to take a little bit longer because it's a little slightly more complex model. And you can see here, this is interesting, that diesel seems to be the important for the lasso, and the year 4 also tends to be important, but this is, the lasso tries to reduce and only concentrate on a couple of the features, or the few most important features. And you can see here, that's why all of the other ones are quite reduced in value in terms of the coefficients. Okay, let's do the next one. So let's do ARD, automatic relevance determination regression. So this basically adapts the type of regularization for the data. And so I find this works really well. It works a little bit better than just ridge or lasso by itself. And so what we can do here is we can call alpha underscore 1 and give it, and they'll say that it's equal to 0.6. So we're giving it the same regularization as our first one, our ridge regression. And so here we'll do alpha underscore 2 equals to, let's do 0.6 as well. So we're giving kind of mild regularization for both of them. And again, we want to do the fit underscore intercept equals true. Okay. So here we go, we'll run this one as well. And we can see here that we get, again, this is really telling that lots of these models are finding the same things to be important. You can see here that it's put less of a negative value to the year 1, but year 4 now is a very similar value or coefficient as the fuel diesel type. So both of these add quite a large amount of value. So let's do the last one, the passive aggressive rhetoric. We'll call this PAR is equal to passive aggressive regressor. So we don't have as many things. Let's do the first one. So let's go fit intercept like we've done on all of our other models, and we'll go true. And do we want to set anything else? So I want to set the loss to be epsilon, oops, this in a string, epsilon. Yeah, let's restart trying that. So let's put this into, let's do the loss, and let's just copy and paste this right here, make our lives easy. Okay, so it's not cheating. This is what all real data scientists do. We copy and paste a lot, truthfully. And so what we want to do is just copy and paste this from the documentation. So we want to use the epsilon insensitive value here. You'll find passive aggressive is very, very sensitive. And so what I do often is send the random state inside of the model. So it's already set for our train test split, but we want to set it again inside the model. So we'll set it to a value of, let's try 3. Okay. So we'll run that. And this one found that it gave a lot less weight to gave a lot less weight to diesel, but a lot more weight to electric. Very interesting. I wonder how well this score will look. So you can see here, and you'll have access to this. This is in the template, and I just wanted to build a list of the train scores here. So train scores are equal to a list of all of our train scores from up above. Test is equal to, or test scores is equal to a list of all of our test scores. Then I have the model names, or the short form names for reference. And then I'm putting this into a dictionary. You can notice by the curly brackets. And so the key is value scores. The values, so there's a key value pair, so key train scores as a string, and then I'm giving it the list, and then test scores and giving it as a list of test scores. I'm then going to put this dictionary into a data frame, and I'm going to give it the index of the model names, and that will be easy for us to tell and see and understand. So we'll run that, everything ran good, and so we'll see our model, and we'll see which ones are how they turned out. So we'll see here we got very similar scores. We have very light kind of regularization on all of our linear models. I believe we see that the art is a little bit better, very, very slightly better than the other models, and it would be up to us to play around with the different types of regularization. So, and we can see here that the passive aggressor is kind of one of my least favorite models, truthfully. And we see here that, again, it kind of disappoints in terms of our score. Very, very disappointing. But that could be us playing around with the hyperparameters and tuning them a little bit better. It's pretty tough to have passive aggressive regressor beat the ARD regression. ARD regression is kind of a very robust version of the regularization. It gives us a lot of control and adapts to the data set. So this can be very important in finding a good balance of regularization. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in class.